Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best small forwards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if you'll do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. So if there are guys y'all don't see on this list, especially like guys who are shooting guard eligible as well, go check the shooting guard tier list. They're on there. I didn't want to repeat a lot of players, so that's why I don't really have these guys on the small forward position. And yeah, so we got 31 of the best small forwards in the game. If I forgot anybody you'd like to hear my thoughts on, leave a comment. I'll try to let you know. And we'll start off with Julius Randle, who, with the list this loaded, and this is a pretty loaded list, I think can't go higher than low B tier. I'm not quite going to go C because I think he's pretty well rounded. His stats and badges are good. His movement isn't awesome. It's not bad, but it's not great. The jumper's pretty good, but it's not, again, insane. He's athletic. He's got great stats and badges. Not a bad card, but not what I would consider an insane card either. I think low B is probably the fair spot for him. Karl Malone feels like a high B to me. I like the jump shot, but I don't love the jump shot. The 60 ball handle is annoying, but his SIGs aren't that bad. He is incredibly physical, fast, and good, versatile defensively as well, though. Definitely a solid, very usable card, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's as elite as the best of the best. Jonathan Bender, to me, feels like a very high A tier card. If he is properly badged with defensive hoffs and things of that nature, he can certainly be S tier. But as of right now, I do have him as an A tier option still at the small forward position. Still definitely a card that I think is very solid and deserves a spot relatively high on this list. But to me, he is A tier. He is not S tier, at least as a base card. If he's fully badged, that is certainly more arguable, I think. But as of right now, I'd put him in that A tier spot. So Kevin Durant, I think Opal KD's B tier, to be honest, because the jumper's only on normal still. And I mean, I just don't love the jumper. I think the movement's solid, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's like crazy elite or anything. I'm not like the biggest KD fan personally in this game. I think a lot of people like him more than I do. I think high B for a Opal KD is the right spot for him. Put Rudy Gay in A. Really like Rudy. Offensively, he's awesome. His movement's good. His jumper's nice. His fade is top tier. And he's not a bad defender. He is only 6'8", but still a very solid card. I think A tier for sure for him. Lamar Odom's jumper kind of kills him as a card. It's just not very good. He's 6'10". He's got really nice, well-rounded stats and badges, but unfortunately, he's just not a particularly high-level shot shooter. And to me, I think it holds him back. I would put him in the B tier. Zion is going to go D tier for me. 6'6". He's undersized, and his jumper is ugly. On a list that is this loaded, there aren't very many bad cards on the list. I think Zion is one of the worst ones. He's going to go D tier to me. Kyle Kuzma feels like a low A card. Pretty well-rounded, very nice jump shot. Not a great shot creator, and not an extremely elite defender, but definitely a solid one. Good, well-rounded card, super solid free card, but I can't go higher than low A for him. James Worthy, I do not like the jump shot. I do like the stats and badges. I think he's good enough to be C, but I certainly wouldn't put him higher than C. And honestly, if you wanted to make the argument for D, I wouldn't be mad at you. I don't love the card. Larry Bird, besides Russell Westbrook's dribble style, he doesn't have much by way of movement. His jumper's really limited because his upper on his jump shot sucks. It just does. Larry Bird hasn't had a good card with his own upper in years. He's just not good when he doesn't have a fully changed jump shot. And I understand that's not always going to happen, but at the end of the day, it certainly limits the card. He's not what I would consider an elite level power forward or small forward option in my personal opinion. And to me, Larry is a C tier guy. Lauri Markkanen, as a base card, his biggest value is that he's 7 foot. His dark matter would be A and arguably even S. Without the boost badge and stat wise that the dark matter gets, I think he's like low A, high B. I don't hate the card by any means, but I wouldn't say I like love him either. I think I'm going high B, to be honest. The B tier is pretty loaded. These are good cards in the B tier. I feel like Markkanen fits in here pretty well, so I'm not going to change it from here. I think B tier is what I'm going to do for Lauri Markkanen. David West, I actually like this card. I don't really have a problem with him in B tier. He's not really a shot creator. His jumper's good, not insane. I don't know. Maybe let me see. Where would I put David West? Let's figure out where we'd put him. 6'9" with a 7'4" wingspan, 87 speed, 90 interior. I did a gameplay with him. I didn't hate him. He's got good athletic ability, 90 through 3, half limitless, decent defender. He's not great perimeter defender, but he's a good rebounder. I think low B with Julius Randle. That feels fair. Carmelo. Would I take Carmelo over David West? I probably would, right? Honestly, I'm looking at this. I think I'm going to move Randle and West to C. Just, well, we might come back to this and move them back up, but I think I'm going to do that for the time being, just because the C tier the B tier feels really over leveled. I'm going to leave David in B tier because he's 6'9". Carmelo's really good offensively. He is only 6'7", but his jumper's money, his movement's good. His problem is that he's not an exceptional defender, especially because he's a little undersized, but he's not a bad one either. I think he's B tier. I have no issues with that. Our first S tier card finally is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Dark Matter Giannis is the best small forward in the game, in my personal opinion. His size and switchability defensively, as well as the mismatch that he provides on the offensive end of the court with his size and speed and glitchy animations, makes him, in my opinion, the best small forward in the game. J-Dub is going to go C tier for me, mainly because he's 6'5". He's got a smooth jumper. He's got Darius Garland dribble style. Rest of the SIGs aren't great, though. And I mean, stat and badge race is good, but 6'5" is too small at this point in the year at the small forward position, in my opinion. Not a big fan. Speaking of 6'5", Elgin Baylor, who's 6'5" with a bad jump shot, this card is not good at all. He is D tier for sure. Paulo Banchero, very solid card. I wouldn't go higher than A tier, but I like the jump shot. I like the slashing. I like the defense. I like the well-rounded versatility of the card. Still a very solid card. Honestly, even Diamond Paulo would have a B tier argument. A tier for the Opal, in my opinion. I think he's a very, very good card. Sean Kemp is like maybe the last card in S tier, but I am actually going to give him an S tier spot. I think I'm a little higher on this card than a lot of other people are, but I legitimately think he's very solid. I think his jumper is pretty good. I think his slashing and defense is extremely good. His size and speed is really nice. He's like a better Karl Malone to me. I actually think he's a very good card, and I think he's a little bit underrated. Definitely, in my opinion, is an S tier card. Dennis Rodman is very good defensively, but his jumper is ugly. He's only 6'7", and he does not have a high three ball. In my opinion, at this point in the year, on this loaded of a list, he is D tier. Sean Marion, really, really solid card. A little bit underrated, I think. He doesn't have much by way of shot creation. He does have a good escape, but he doesn't have the dribble style to combo with it. He's a little bit undersized as well, but his jump shot is actually very nice. Despite the fact he shoots from his waist, it's a very smooth, easy jumper, and he is a good athlete, and he is a good defender. At this point, though, I think he's a little bit outdated, just barely. Not a bad card, but the C tier isn't horrible cards. I feel like C tier is where he deserves to go. I am including multiple versions of a few of these guys. Opal Giannis, despite not having the hotspots the Dark Matter has, the high three ball that the Dark Matter has, or the jump shot sped up that the Dark Matter has, is still S tier in my opinion. He's extremely, extremely good, and I think has to be in the S tier as well. Really, really great card. Obviously, LeBron is also S tier. Some people would say he's the best small forward in the game. I prefer Giannis, but either way, LeBron is top 2, top 3 at very worst. He is an extremely good card and a no-brainer S tier. Larry Johnson, if he had a better jumper, would be B tier, as is. Don't love the jumper. It's not terrible, but again, I think C tier is the right spot for him. He's not an incredible card. He's not a bad card. I feel like C tier is the right spot for him. Michael Beasley, love this card offensively. He's the best offensive small forward in the game. His fade is elite, his jump shot is elite, his slashing is elite, his movement in general is elite, and his, well, everything offensively is elite. Defensively, he's not exceptional, although if you do get a fully badged Beasley, just like with Bender, he can be even better. I love Beasley. I'm using him for his offense. He is really one of my primary shot creators on my entire team. Big fan of him as an overall card. An easy S tier card for me personally. Andre Kirilenko, I'm actually going to give low A. The defense is elite. The jumper's pretty good. The movement itself, De'Aaron Fox escape is good. The rest of it isn't great. He's not an exceptional slasher, but he's not a liability as a slasher. I like the jump shot. I think defensively he's a beast. I think he's low A. Very solid card. KD, gonna get an S tier spot for me. Dark Matter KD is probably like the second to last or last card in the S tier in my personal opinion. It's him, Kemp, Giannis are the guys towards the end, but I like KD. I don't love the card. I think some people are higher on KD as a card this year than I am in general. Wish the jumper was maybe a tiny bit better, even on very quick. I just like, it could be a little better, and so could the movement. It could just be a little better. Now, it's not just take away from the card. Still a good defender, still 6'10", still does a lot of things well, still a great slasher, still a good shooter and shot creator. But I think low S is where I put him. I don't like him as much as Giannis, LeBron, Beasley, is what I will say. LeBron's Opal is actually also probably an S tier card, is he not? He's just, his jumper's so smooth. He's such a good slasher. He's basically his pink diamond with better stats and badges, and yet I still think he's great. His fade is great, his slashing is great, his size is great, his defense is great. I think he's got to go S tier. We're going to have 7 S tier cards. I think that's just how it's going to be, because I think LeBron is better than a guy like Tatum who's coming up. So we will put him right there. Xavier McDaniel, I mean, he's good. His jumper's smooth. He's a good defender. He's a little underrated, honestly. But at this point in the year, he's not really doing anything off the dribble. I don't love the stats back. The jumper's not exceptionally elite. I think probably C tier. I'm putting Tatum at A tier. People aren't going to like that. I do not like his total lack of shot creation. It is very limiting. He also has a terrible fade. Terrible fade is a big no-no for me. I don't like that. Overall, I don't mind the card besides those two things, but those are real flaws. No shot creation, bad fade. Those hurt him a bit. Elton Brand, actually very good, but slept on. Smooth jump shot. Has Curry escape, which is a W. He's very athletic. He's a good rebounder, solid speed, good size, big player build, great wingspan. Nice card, definitely solidly B tier. And then I'll put Opal Tatum in B tier as well. I don't love the card by any means. He has the same flaws as the Dark Matter, except he's even worse, but I still think he's good enough at this point where he's like a low B tier card, kind of like Carmelo and David West, where he's at that low B tier, could probably be argued C tier if you wanted to slide the list down even more. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this tier list. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.